Okay guys, continuing our test corrections, starting with number 6. Aaron biked 12.8 miles in a recent bicycle race. Which of the following best represents this distance? So I've got 12.8. My answers are in fractions, so I'm going to rewrite this as a fraction. So remember, say it, write it, simplify it. 12 and 8 tenths. So that would be 12 would be my whole number, and then 8 is my numerator, and it's in the tenths place, so 12 and 8 over 10. It's not here, which means that I can simplify this. Since they're both even, I'm going to divide them by 2, and I get 4/5. So my answer is 12 and 4/5, which is letter F. Okay. Number 7. This one was missed quite a bit. Jennifer climbed up 20 feet to the top of a ladder. Which of the following represents the opposite of her height on the ladder? So I'm looking for the opposite of 20, and we know that's going to be negative 20. So when you look at your answer choices, that is 20. B means the absolute value of negative 20, which means distance from 0, always positive. So that will be 20. D is the absolute value of 20, which is also just 20. C, because we have a negative outside, what this means is the absolute value of 20 is 20, and then the negative sign goes with it, so I want the negative of this absolute value is what that means. So my answer here is C. Okay, number 8. Which number or which graphic organizer correctly groups the following numbers? So this is our whole numbers, this is our integers, and these are our rational numbers. So if we think about it, 6.2 is a decimal, so 6.2 is a rational number. This is just a negative number, but it's an integer. Whole number, negative, but it's a decimal, it's rational. 0, whole number. So which graphic organizer has them labeled correctly? So it would look like this. Your whole numbers would be 4 and 0, and then in your next circle would be negative 5, which is your integers, and then in your last circle, which is your rational numbers, you would have 6.2 and negative 2.3, and that answer choice was D. Okay. Number 9. A farmer planted 3/8 of his crops in wheat. What percent of his crops are wheat? So we are going to take our fraction and change it to a percent. So the first thing we do is change the fraction to a decimal by dividing. Top dog in the house. So 3 is divided by 8. 3 won't go in, 8 will not go into 3, so we put a 0, add our decimal and our 0, and then we go 8 into 30, 3 times, which is 24. Subtract, add another 0, 8 into 60, 7 times, which is 56, subtract, add another 0, 8 into 40, 5 times. Okay, and that it would be my decimal. And now we go from the decimal to a percent. Remember, that's going to the right 2 times. So 1, 2. So we get 37.5%, which is B. Okay, number 10. Sorry guys. Alright, here we go. So number 10. A tree farm owner analyzed the change in sales of various types of trees from last fall to this fall. So we have the change in sales. We've got positive and negative numbers, and we're going to put these in order from greatest to least. So if you're looking from greatest to least, we have positive numbers and negative numbers. So we know our bigger numbers are positive. So looking at 2.7 and 2.35, 2 7/10 is greater than 2 3/10. So we put 2.7. Okay. Then 2.35, which is our pecan, and then our oak. And then looking at our negative numbers, you have negative 2.5, negative 0.9, and negative 2.5. Remember, the further away it goes to the left, the smaller it is. So negative 0.9 would be next. Thinking that the crepe myrtle, we're going to abbreviate here to save some time. And then after that, we would have the Texas Chase, which is negative 2.45. And then we have the cedar, which is negative 2.5. And if you look at your answer choices, the only one that starts with the pecan tree is letter H. Alright. Number 11. A company spent 32% of its annual budget on advertising. What fraction of the budget was spent on advertising? So we're taking 32% and we're changing it to a fraction. So remember, take that back to a decimal, which means I move my decimal 2 places to the left. So that becomes 0.32. And if you remember from class, we said that's 32 is my numerator. That's 32 hundredths. And then we simplify. We can divide them both by 4. We get 8 over 25, which is B. And last but not least, number 12. Martin's family drove 272.48 miles. We calculated that they drove 26.2 miles per gallon of gas. How many gallons of gas did they use? So we are going to divide. Okay, so remember, if I have a decimal out here, I get rid of it by moving the decimal. So I have one digit, so I'm going to move it one place to the right. Whatever I do outside, I do inside. So I'm left with 27,248 divided by 262. So remember, it won't go here, it won't go to 27, but it will go in here one time. Okay, and bring down my 4. Almost scratch from the decimal in there. Bring down my 4. It will not go in there. I'm going to bring down my 8. Don't forget to put your decimal up at the top. And then this will go in here. Let's see, 262. Let's do times 4 and see what we get. 8, 24, 10, 10. Oh, look, that worked out perfect. So I get 10.4 as my answer, which was letter choice G. If you're still having trouble on any of those, just let me know.